Hello, 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 everyone. Terry Berland here. I think I came on a moment or two early because we're waiting for our voiceover agent, Ferenc Laczko, to be our guest. And we're going to talk to you about lots of voiceover tips and information, how to be successful in voiceover. So I wanted to bring an agent on with me, and we're just waiting for him to get on now, and it will give everybody also an opportunity to get on. Hi everyone. Hi Tracy, good to see you. And here he is requesting. So I'm gonna tap that. Whoops. There we go. No, that's Terrence. Sorry, Terrence. I'm waiting for a different guest. We're waiting for our agent to come on. So everyone starts from the beginning. I started as a little assistant, those of you who know me, casting at an ad agency way back when in New York, High Wave on Madison Avenue. And Ferenc also started off another wave at the beginning. So when he does get on, I'll introduce you and we'll find out how he became an agent and when that. So we'll find out how Ferenc started, and maybe his little puppy Cooper will be on too, because we're all human, and I think it's really fun to see a human side. Are we still going? You know what? Oh yeah, we are still going. So if Ferenc, that might be him now. Here he is. No, it says Terrence. Says Terrence. Maybe that's Ferenc. All right. Let me ask him, actually. Let me call him and ask him if he's coming on as Terrence. You're coming on as Terrence? Oh, okay. I'm going to let you on right now. Everybody is, I'm going to. All right, everyone, that was Ferenc. He should be coming on. There he is.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, I can even hear you. You fooled me with your username. I never did think to ask you what your username was.
Well, I thought Terrence with an F would be a good one because my name is just not a common one around these parts of town. So I came up with Terrence with an F, and then there's a whole running joke at my office about every single time I have to say it because my name is so unique. They're like Ferenc, Ferenc, you know, it's one of those names. So I came up with Terrence with an F, and then it kind of stuck. And there's even a bell every time I say it. Like the whole office rings a bell, and like there he goes again.
So welcome. I got on a little early so I could warm myself up and have people get on. So I told that, by the way, is Cooper with you?
He is. He's currently devouring a antler stick, so he'll join us, and he'll want his showtime.
Okay, when you feel it's right, you can give him his showtime.
Oh yeah. Give the people what they want.
Exactly, or what I want. Lots of hearts, lots of
You
hearts.
see the little bells. I see people with bells.
So I started telling everyone we all start from the beginning. I started from the beginning. You did. A lot of the voiceover actors on here, I know we have, hi Z, we have old friends, you know, who work a lot in voiceover, and we have people on who want to get into voiceover. So why don't you tell us, I told them I would ask, how you even became a voiceover agent.
Sure, that's a great story. I grew up in Southern California.
I just have to tell you, Nancy Lenori's on. Hi,
Hi,
Nancy.
Nancy Molinari. So I grew up in the suburbs of Los Angeles in a little city called Arcadia. And, the entertainment industry was always in the periphery of growing up, and always had sort of like a fascination with film and TV and even radio. I mean, just listening to radio growing up in Southern California was such a vibrant scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to UC Santa Barbara for college and was trying to figure out, am I going to be a lawyer? Am I going to be a diplomat? What am I going to do with my life? And I interned at one of Avi Lerner's companies, New Image Millennium Films, in college. And I was like, I got bit by the bug, and I loved it. I had to be involved somehow in the entertainment industry. From there, I was lucky enough to get an internship at Fox 2000, which was an incredible production company led by Elizabeth Gabler, and she did The Devil Wears Prada. She did, oh my God, so many good movies.
Well,
that
that's enough. Right, that's impressive.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada is a great one. Marley and Me, Percy Jackson. I mean, just a bunch of really great properties. And so they're like, if you ever want to work in the entertainment industry, you need to go work at a talent agency. That's really the crossroads of where everything kind of comes together. You get all the different information from Fox, from Disney, from Nickelodeon, all coming together in this environment. And so I was like, great, let's do it. Of course, I graduated during the recession and the writer's strike. So there were, it was like getting into a mailroom was almost impossible. But I finally got hired at Abrams Artists in the mailroom there in Los Angeles, and worked in the mailroom, and eventually got into the voiceover department. I see UCSB, go Gauchos. I got into the voiceover department at Abrams, and I was really fascinated by the talent coming in and recording and how hands-on it was versus the other side of facets of the industry. I mean, it was really, you were in direct contact with the actors. You were even directing them in the booth sometimes. It was really eye-opening for me, and I was really fascinated. And so I stuck with it, and I moved with my boss to another agency, and from there, I finally was able to become an agent and move on to a couple of different firms I was at. After Abrams, it was Diverse, and then after Diverse was the Independent Artist Agency, which was an amazing celebrity boutique agency that I was at, and then now happily at SBV Sutton Barth and Venari.
So for everyone, I'm sure everyone does know, but SBV is a premier voiceover agency and on camera. But really, they have a voiceover department where they have nurtured and have relationships with ad agencies and promo houses, direct relationships that they've nurtured for years. So although you can all get, especially those of you, oh, and by the way, SBV only works on union commercials. So some of you who are just starting out and are non-union, just like Ferenc told us his path, and it took a while, and it is a path, and I had my own path of how I became a casting director in my own agency. Of course, you're going to start out as non-union, and there are ways to get jobs, and there's agencies out there, because so many voiceovers now, especially non-union, are put out on the traditional on-camera breakdown services that you can get lots and lots of auditions. In fact, people who have taken my voiceover workshops, they tell me they have 100, literally 100 opportunities a day. But eventually, your goal is to become union in voiceover and have an agent and an agency like Ferenc and Ferenc's agency. So I think it's interesting you said you started out in the mailroom, and now, even when things aren't as different as they are now, there's no mailroom people. What replaced the mailroom? Like, how do people start out in, what do you think?
I still think there is. I mean, you're delivering basically like variety that comes, daily variety, not even daily variety, it comes out once a month now. So you're delivering like trade publications in magazines to certain people. I mean, when I was at Abrams, we were still stapling the headshot and resume and putting them, we were doing like the hard submissions that way still. So it would be like under the gun, we'd get like a letter and it'd be like, please consider the 5 following talent. You'd have to, gun it to the mailroom and staple the headshot and resume,
right,
put it in all alphabetically and make sure that it was all, and then hand it back to the assistant.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of, I mean, I will say, and purposely, they probably made it a little bit like the Hunger Games, They
oh, really?
Yeah, they definitely did want to see like who would, who cuts above and who doesn't. And so I think it's part of the, matriculation process maybe of the entertainment industry to see, even if you can't handle, binding a script properly, how are you going to be able to then, connect a conference call properly, or, so it's sort of like a litmus test.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So being a voiceover artist has its tests too, and being one of the top dogs who you represent, it has its tests to become one of those top dogs. So voiceover has always had home recordings. On camera, we call it self-directed auditions, and voiceover, they're like home read, self-direct auditions. So tell us, and now of course with COVID, I mean, even as a casting director, I don't bring people into my office to direct them. So why don't you tell us the process when you get a breakdown, because you get your breakdowns. Who do you get your breakdowns from? And what's the process with your clients? How do you get them the auditions, and then what happens when they send them to you, and so on and so forth?
Definitely. Well, first of all, I think he's ready to say hello. Here he is.
Oh.
There he is.
Hi, Cooper. Everyone, this is Cooper.
There he is. A face only a mother could love.
Yeah. Some people get, I teach voiceover workshops with Nick O'Mana, and he does a great dog bark. He's actually been booked for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Dog bark.
Character voices.
Yeah.
Well, I will say with coronavirus, there have been some changes in the way the voiceover process is. Mostly it's a lot faster. Things move very quickly. Before I thought that there was at least a little bit of luxury of time. Now it's really commercials move much quicker in terms of between when the commercial is shot. Well, now there's no commercials being shot. I mean, I think you saw it LA Times, Film LA, 98% of on average, 98% of productions are down. I mean, it's down 98% since this time last year. So, you know, what you're seeing on TV these days is a lot of either stock footage stuff that they have brought back from the living, or just like spots that they've repurposed. But the deadlines have become so fast and so quick. You really have to be on top of your game. And
like, what is so fast?
So
they might
fast
not even have
like
any
overnight. You know, we've gotten projects from big Chicago ad agencies that, you know, we get them because they know that the industry kind of shuts down around 5:30, 6:30. So they'll send them around 5 o'clock being like, okay, we need these the next morning at your 9:30, which is already their noon, you know, but that's how quickly it's like you're expected to do it overnight. And we get our opportunities from our casting directors. We get them directly from the advertising agencies, and we get them from production companies. And I mean, we get them from all sides. You know, we get them from the casting websites as well. So there's different avenues, but one thing is they have to be done expeditiously. I mean, it's like quality and how quickly you can turn it in is really paramount these days.
Okay. Then they send it in to you. They follow directions that you've sent them. Then what's the process in your agency then for you to get it to someone like myself or directly to the
advertising agency? So then we have like quality control. So we listen for making sure that people read the right spots, that people follow the instructions, labeled it correctly, slated, didn't slate, we're so thankful at SBV. We have such an amazing team of people. I have to give them a shout out because
and a lot of SBVers, even one of your principals who owns the agency have been on.
Oh, Cynthia, Rita, somebody, Cynthia,
Cynthia.
Our vice president of commercial interactive animation. But
when Cooper came on, oh my God, Cooper stole the show. Cooper got so much.
I know. Let's just
so
cancel this whole interview, and we'll just put Cooper up here, and then we'll get like so many more likes.
Exactly.
We have an amazing team at SBV that listens through and makes sure that it is up to quality. It is, it's under control. And if there's any, if these things need to be redone, send them back to the talent so that they can, make sure it's turned in properly, and that, we try to aim for quality. Quality. If it sounds like you're recording your audition in, a tiled bathroom wall to wall with, no insulation whatsoever, your audition's probably going to be kicked back for audio quality.
Right. Well, your clients, of course, don't hand in something like that. But why don't we address that to all the people who aren't as fortunate enough to have an agent like yourself, an agency, as they're building up and booking and looking for agents.
Sure.
What are the qualities that is needed for a good voiceover submission?
It's a great question. And number one right off the bat is training and technique and studying. You need to have, without that, there's nothing. You need to be well trained. You need to have education behind that's the backbone. Otherwise, you have nothing to really hold it all up. I think that's paramount. Very, very, very few people, I think, just naturally have it, that special magnetic, quality that exists out there. A lot of it is training. They say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. You need to be constantly working out those muscles. You need to be, working out with different groups, kind of getting their perspective on how they attack copy or how they attack their auditions or their process. But first and foremost, I would say education, hands down.
Well, It's interesting because someone says, what are some good voice trainers?
I
I
wonder.
have to put a plug in because besides casting, I do train in voiceover. In fact, we have a kickstart intensive that can get you going in voiceover that starts July 22nd. Just go to my website, Terry Berland Workshops, and go terryberlandworkshops.com, go under voiceover, and you'll see it. It's a great way to start. And last week I had on a voiceover talent who books a lot, Jay Preston, and he also mentioned training. He actually trained with me, and I wasn't one of the first people he trained with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he trained with about 7 or 8 people. I was somewhere, not in the beginning, but probably in the middle. And he too was talking about training. You just can't, you know, I have some people, they take this workshop, they want to do their demo, and they want to book. So the more they hear it from different people.
It's validation.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's paramount. I mean, the cream rises to the top. I say that all the time. I mean, you really do need that training and that backbone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like working out, which I should listen to my own advice, but you gotta train, you gotta work out, you gotta make sure that the muscles are strong, that you're, using them, that they're, ready to go when you need them.
Now, when people come to you, or not physically come to you, but they send you a demo because they want to be represented, what do you listen for in a demo or a voiceover person? Like, what makes someone ready, in your estimation, to be represented?
Another great question. So I first review, like, when my process is, I review the resume, I see who they've studied with, if they have, I tend to also gravitate towards people that have a lot of theatrical credits, just because, I am myself, a fan of film and TV and arts, and so working with people that have worked on,
and theater,
like
we've gone to the theater together.
Yes, we saw Dear Evan Hansen together.
We miss theater.
Yes, and having that sort of, seeing them express in that artistic background too, I think helps the cause. Helps your brand move forward. So, theatrical credits are great, but when it comes to the the voiceover demo, I try to make sure I listen for authenticity. I listen for today's current trends, which are, it sounds like it's dead, but non-announcer voiceover, which is really, and I've heard on some demos now, people just recording like nothing but their voice and maybe just some soft bedding of music, or maybe just not even any bedding of music, just to hear the, hear their voice and make sure that it's not going to be like an announcer or super slick or anything like that. So, if I hear, I'll tell you some of my pet peeves when I hear a demo.
Oh, great.
If I hear a spot on there that is clearly like a Mercedes-Benz spot, I'll be like, well, you didn't do Mercedes-Benz. That's John Hamm. John Hamm's the voice of Mercedes-Benz. And so then I start going down this rabbit hole of like, okay, so what other things on your demo aren't real? Because your demo is ideally supposed to be all these spots that you booked in real time and that you kind of, put together.
Right.
But if, some people don't have enough of that work, and some people who are highly successful want a comedy spot, but the comedy spot isn't, it doesn't really work. They have to re-record it, whatever. That's okay. But if it's like John Hamm, like I clearly know that that's John Hamm's, campaign. He is the voice of Mercedes-Benz. I know that for a fact. If you're doing a Mercedes-Benz spot, then my head that goes, okay, so this person's like not really, why do they have a fake John Hamm spot? And then, you go down that rabbit hole. Like I mentioned.
So don't use extremely recognizable, iconic spots.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do not You know,
Yeah.
I like to laugh when I listen to demos. Like, if you can make me laugh, that's great. A funny partner read is always good. Although partner reads these days, obviously, you know, not happening as much.
Right.
But you know, the other thing I really like is the fourth wall kind of like narrator style, kind of like what Will Arnett does it really well with like his Reese's Pieces work and things like that. So yeah, those are some of
Someone's
the
asking, what if you don't have theatrical experience? I can answer that, but I'll let you answer since you're the guest expert.
Yes. I mean, if you don't have theatrical experience and voiceovers, you know, this is, you love voiceover, that's all you want to do, then you do need to rely more heavily on the voiceover training. And I would also suggest looking into the improv workshops like UCB and Groundlings and Second City, just to like loosen up those muscles too.
Yeah.
The more of that kind of training you can get, I think the better you'll be off.
Someone's asking about usage. How is it different from film and television? What should actors avoid?
How is it different from TV? Wait, I can
Well,
see
I
about
think they're talking about probably the contract. And
Got it. So
yeah, I would imagine because, yeah.
that's, I mean, voiceover. Another thing what I love about voiceover too, is that you're not just working on one kind of contract. It's not just voiceover commercial. It's animation. It's the interactive media agreement. It's the industrial agreement. So instead of just working on one like SAG TV contract, which I also work on, you know, you get to familiarize yourself with all these different facets of the industry, which is another reason why I think voiceover is one of the most interesting parts of the industry. So when it comes to usage, I mean, it's going to be a hard question to answer, because if it's TV commercial and your voice is recognizable, then you're going to hold a conflict. So like, say I did a commercial for Coca-Cola TV, I can't go on and do a Pepsi TV commercial like the next day, because I'm under contract with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I would like to add one big thing to avoid.
Yes.
In the beginning, when you're not union yet, avoid anything that says in perpetuity.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Do not just run away from that, and run away from things where they're taking advantage of you. For instance, someone who just took my voiceover class said someone wanted to book her for a nationwide, it was like a 2-year agreement, a pretty big, even though they weren't asking conflicts, it was a big conflict area, and for $250. And I said, run away from it. Run. Right. So, you know,
that's
although,
great advice.
Yeah, you need to take work to, you know, get your muscles strong and get practice, but you have to be really smart about what you're agreeing to do, how much you're being paid, and how long it's going to run, and where it's going to run, and all that stuff.
Right. It's really, and that's really, when that really gets sticky when you do like TV conflicts, and like, again, with like, you know, there's a lot of like confidential brand, and it won't tell you what it is, but it'll have like, you know, the conflicts will be like streaming services and internet service providers, and that means you're going to be taken out of all those categories for voiceover and on camera, because the conflicts carry over. At least that's how we see it. So, you know, if you have an on-camera streaming services, you can't do a voiceover streaming services. So you really have to just kind of be careful about, you know, if you're doing like a Honda regional, that will still hold an auto exclusivity in the entire United States, unless your agent really negotiates that. And then even then, I don't think most of the time, most buyers aren't willing to go there. So you really just have to pay attention to your exclusivities and maximize your potential. What are you going to more eyeballs usually means more money. So where are you going to be making, most of your money? Is
Right.
on this Honda regional spot or on this Toyota national,
Right.
Toyota national probably. So,
Right. So I'm sure you get, someone's asking what purpose is Berland casting? Well, I'm a casting director, and my greatest pleasure, besides being creative myself and enjoying the creative process, is to book talent and be in support of talent. And from there, many, 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 many years ago, I started teaching. On camera is my flagship workshops and voiceover, because I started as a little assistant back on Madison Avenue, where we cast the on camera and then we cast the voiceover. So I naturally always did both. And so with my teaching, my purpose is to be supportive of actors and teach them. I see lots and lots of hearts because there are lots of people who study with me. I'm in support of helping actors work as a working actor. So that's my purpose. Oh, here's another good one, which I can answer, but I'd love to hear your answer.
Of course.
How does someone stand out in an audition?
Oh, this is such a good question, because it's really, at least on the commercial voiceover side of things, kind of the crux of what it is. And I say that because, as an agent watching the casting process unfold, we get the scripts from the ad agency. Usually the specs are so convoluted. And so, you're like, what do they want? It's like, we want casual, but they should still have, some distinct quality in their voice that makes them distinguished, but not too distinguished, but still like, someone you'd want to have a beer with. And it just goes on and on. And you're like, what are they? I mean, what does that even mean? And you're just kind of like left there going like, so, what happens in those cases usually is, that interpretation's left to the actor to kind of decode what the specs are and figure out, okay, what are they really going for here? And that is every actor's journey, like that, that's between them and kind of their training and what they want to do. I don't touch that part of the process, but what ends up happening is you get, 20 auditions from SPV, then you get the 40 from agency X, then you get 50 from agency Y, then you get 30 from agency Z, all these different. So then the person on the other end all of a sudden has like 300 reads or 400 reads. So how is one audition going to stand out from those 400 reads? I mean, chances are, number one, they're not going to listen to all 400. They're going to listen to the first maybe 200. So how do you make sure that your read stands out in those 200? So again, authenticity is the key. I think if you can add, a funny ad lib that does, if the copy says no ad libs, then don't touch it, obviously, because the writer may have spent hours, just really thinking that he wrote like Pride and Prejudice, but it's just really just a Coca-Cola commercial copy script. So, if you can add a funny ad lib there that just kind of makes your audition stick out a little bit, that kind of makes them chuckle as they're listening, to the 200 MP3s that they have to get through, and they go, oh, that's different from the 199. I want to save that one in another folder. Or even if you're not right for that particular project, they go, you know what, it's too cheesy for this, but I have a Dunkin' Donuts coming up. That might be good for that. So I'm going to just save that over here, So any way you can kind of, without making it super silly or super jokey or, just kind of, obviously nothing condescending or mean-spirited, but if you can find a way to bring that authenticity to your read and make it jump from those 199, I think you're in a much better spot.
Oh, Victoria Hoffman's on. Hi, Vic. Oh, lots of hearts. I agree with you. Authenticity and interpretation, which we can hear how the nuances that you have in transitions, like how their scripts have a number of transitions in them, unless it's a big promo. So just when you can find, like you said, I love the word authenticity. There's always something different and special in who you are. So that there's no fancy tricks to stand out. I personally can't stand lead-ins. It's not part of the script. It's a cheap trick, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't work. You might feel differently. How do you feel about lead-ins? I mean, if you need it as an actor in your head, you do need it, but I don't want to hear it, and neither do my clients.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It has to work with the copy. If it's too much, or if it's like this, ramble, like, okay, get to it. Like, get to it. I don't want to hear your interpretation of the script. I want to hear the words. I want to hear the script. So it's case by case for me. If someone can make a case for a funny and unique lead-in, I'm all for it. If it's tacky and just like cringy and just, no thank you. I would rather it just not be there. I would delete it. And then obviously, you don't want to offend the writer, when you're doing those kind of things. The copywriter, they spend so much time, working on this particular script that you just don't want to offend them either.
Yeah. And even though actors out there, unless they tell you to, you do not have to time it, but you can see that it should come in generally in a certain amount of time. So you don't want to waste time on lead-ins. And I would say the radio, because in radio, first of all, TV, you are supporting the picture. So it's a tricky balance anyway to have the right emotions and not overtake the picture. So you certainly would never do a lead-in for TV. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, again, for me, it's case by case. If there's a good lead-in that supports, the copy, again, that's okay with me. But again, what you're saying is correct. Like radio, you have to paint the picture
exactly
a lot more than in TV. You're supporting the imagery that's on the TV. So you wouldn't push that. You wouldn't push in TV.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really loud, like, guitar, that Jack in the Box spot that's on right now.
Yeah, I mean, the funnier radio and the funnier and looser, yes. Lead-ins, certainly little ad-libs at the end. Yeah.
But if I were an actor and I'm submitting to Terry Berland, like, and I'm listening to this conversation right now, I know hopefully I'm writing my notes right now, like, oh, somebody wants to say hi.
Oh.
I'm writing my notes right now.
Now we're going to get lots of more hearts and everything. Oh, hi,
I'm
Cooper.
writing my notes right now, do not do any lead-ins for Terry, There he is.
Hi, Coop.
He's going to steal the show here.
Yeah, I know. Lots of hearts. Time for another Cooper break, someone said. Oh, Hayes Hargrove. Hi, Hayes. Okay, so let's start winding it up. Like, any advice you're on a lot of panels and you're prestigious guests in different places. Is there anything that you get asked a lot where you really want to convey a message to everyone?
Sure. I mean, I think a lot. I get asked the question, how do you get into voiceover? A lot. And I think we sort of answered it, but I'm going to hit it over the head. Training, studying, just so important for this industry. I mean, there's no way around it. There are very few people that just naturally just slide into voiceover and have the acting chops, just naturally. It just does not happen a lot. So training, get yourself in, workshops. Make sure, don't do the thing where you're just, all right, I did this workshop at workshop A, in 1 week I'm going to do that workshop. And then don't do that. Cause cause then we know what you're trying to do. You're just trying to meet casting directors and get in front of them and not really make that authentic, not learn anything, and B, not make any sort of authentic connections. So
I'm not interested in anyone being with me for that reason too.
Exactly. You need your mindset, you need your brain present, you need to learn, and you need to stay up with the trends, and you can kind of see right now what we're up against, because we're all home watching a lot of TV. You can kind of see what the new trends are. We've already blasted through the the coronavirus response spots, thank God, because if I hear another in these times of need,
empathy.
Whew,
empathy,
those just like overkill. So we're moving past that. Now we're in this phase where it's it's time to come back, it's time to rebuild, it's time to get back on the road, or we're looking forward to. So make sure that this year's going to be different. We're not going to have, I don't think we're going to have the usual, back to school trend. And then October comes Halloween, and then November's Thanksgiving. And this, it's not going to be the same traditional cycles of advertising that we've seen. I think they might be different. So make sure you're setting up on those trends and familiarizing yourself with what products are probably going to be out there advertising, DoorDash, all the mobile, all the mobile phones, all those delivery services and things like that. I mean, I think those are very important.
Someone just asked an interesting questions. How do you recommend building relationships with, it laughed, but it was clients or people you don't have relationships yet, who doesn't know, I never heard your reel before. Do you have a recommendation for that?
It's a good question. I saw Nick Schreiner ask that, so Nick's with SVB. So great question, Nick.
Okay.
So when it comes to, the ad agency world, as I understand it, it's very challenging environment to be part of that. I mean, I work with new ad agency producers all the time on different products. Like, it's the same campaign, but totally different crew of people now. And, I don't know. I haven't worked at an advertising agency before, so I don't know necessarily why that is and why people jump around so much, and the freelance element of it, like why there's so many freelance producers. My theory is that because it's such a demanding job, and you need like that flexibility not to just work for one ad agency. But I would say when it comes to making those relationships, it's when you book a job, it's making sure that you make a connection with that producer at that job, because you don't know where that producer is going to go the next time.
Great.
So if that means that you have like little business cards or, something to be like, you don't want to come off as pushy or, eager beaver or anything like that. But if you have something subtle to be like, I really appreciate working with you guys. It was great. Here's my business card. If you had a session that went so well, the client was happy, everyone's happy, consider sending them, a gift or something like that. A nicety that shows your appreciation. Those things make you stand out from the rest of everybody when you send that kind of gratitude. Being grateful, I think, goes a long way. Whatever you can do to make the ad agency producer's job easier, I think, helps the
Absolutely.
cause, helps your cause too.
It's building blocks. So it is for a casting director too. We're independent. One producer tells another producer, and the ad agencies and the producers in the ad agencies, they don't want your demos. They have so much to do. They are not casting, so to speak. And they're, that's the wrong place to put your efforts. They have other people, they have agents or casting directors to do that. So when people look at your agency website, I should have looked at it actually before I spoke to you, but like, are there instructions on there if people want to submit to SBV? Like, how do
Yeah, there is solicitation information on there.
Oh, good.
But I think the best way is referral.
I do too.
Referrals work for me. That's how I really, that's
Yeah.
how I really sit down and listen
Yeah.
and pay attention. And that's sort of my mantra since the independent artist days has been referral only.
Yeah.
Just because it's more of a meaningful connection that way, I think.
And your actor friends, actors, your other friends. I know so many agents take on people because someone who's already with them suggests someone that they know who's really, really good. So it's referrals from casting directors, producers they've worked with, and other actors.
Exactly. Yes, I take referrals from other actors, producers, casting director friends.
Yeah.
The full spectrum. Yeah.
So one last plug, because I do have Terry Berland workshops, and lots and lots and lots of people are working in voiceover from that. Plus, we have a core kickstart intensive, 9 hours, will give you the basics to build on. And because you don't want to have a demo too soon. You want to be ready to win those auditions and nail those bookings. Having a great demo without being able to analyze a piece of copy, direct yourself, have someone else direct you, will do you no good. You're wasting your money. Right, Ferenc?
I've worked with people that I've heard their demo and I'm like, this is phenomenal.
Me
this is
too.
phenomenal. I must have this person. I must sit down with this person and meet with them. And we have this sensational meeting. They're doing all they train, they're, out there at the mixers and they're doing things. And then, when it rubber hits the road, it's like, you hear the reads and you go, whoa, where's this person? What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
And it happens over and over again. You're like, so it was just a really well produced demo then, and that's sort of, again, going back to the training. I mean, you really, and making sure that you're ready to make a demo. Like, you really do have to make sure that you have the backbone of education, and then you make your commercial. I mean, commercial voiceover demos usually the calling card in voiceover. So, meaning that's the demo that you have before you get the animation demo, before you get a promo demo. It is like your headshot in voiceover.
Yeah, I agree, because some people want to go right to animation. That's a waste of money too, guys, and a waste of money training. Waste of money on an animation demo and a waste of money on animation training if you don't have your commercial training first, because the commercial training, you learn how to analyze, how to have nuances.
Unless, of course, your goal is to be an animation superstar, and then, of course, obviously, you'll need to get an animation demo reel.
Well, yeah, you get an animation demo, but you need the strong foundation to hold up all your creativity. So yeah, go to terryberlandworkshops.com. You'll see. Oh, hi, Coop. We're saying goodbye to Cooper. Wait, he has something in his.
That's what happens.
Oh, that's what happens. You're such a good dad. Well, thank you so much, Ferenc. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it.
And I know I have some interest in one of your talent for a job that I'm working on. So hopefully that will work out.
Yeah.
But
I've known Terry. I just have to give a shout out to Terry. Terry's been such a wonderful and just strong advocate for me all these years. When I was just a baby little agent, I used to call over there and be like, Terry, I'd love to pitch you some people. And Terry would always take my call and be like, who do you have? Who? Nope, not right. Yeah, okay, yeah, I haven't thought about it. Okay, well, let's bring him in. And you were like that. And you were just so incredibly open-minded and always open to taking my pitches. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for giving me a voice in this industry.
Oh, you're welcome. See, guys, it's all about relationships. We're actually all in relationship. We're all connected. We're family, really.
Yeah.
So, bye-bye, everyone. Stay so. Bye, Coop. That's so cute.
Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Wash your hands.
Thank you.